You are listening to The Squeeze with Anthony Pasquazi, produced by Alec Rude on KSMR Radio, broadcasting live on 92.5 FM on campus and 94.3 FM in Winona, Minnesota, as well as online at smumn.edu/KSMR, KSMR Real College Radio. We're also streaming live on YouTube under the channel name Anthony Pasquazi. So if you're tuning in on there, be sure to hit that subscribe button, like the live stream, and thanks for supporting Alec. Very happy to have you back.
Glad to be back.
You've been gone for a while. 2 weeks.
It's been too long. I should have skipped everything. I should have came to the squeeze, but now I know for a future that squeeze comes first.
Squeeze comes first. We definitely missed you. 2 weeks of Alec Rude is 2 weeks. 2 weeks without Alec Rude. I apologize. It's 2 weeks too many. You were in Aspen, Colorado for the X Games. You had quite a fun time there, and then you got snowed in, which is why you were a couple days late or so.
I was actually on time, but
okay.
Zach Mayo, he has helped us some KSMR stuff, and then also some other students had to stay in Denver one extra night and pay for their own hotel room.
Ooh.
But luckily, I made my flight and I got home
in time for
a day earlier than they did. So I was lucky both times. But the group that left to Aspen actually got delayed 8 hours in the Minneapolis airport. And I left 20 minutes before they did. So I got very lucky.
Yeah, that was lucky. We were in our sports marketing class with Professor Klosky looking at the misery map, which is all of the airports in America and their departures and cancellations. And Minneapolis and Denver looked very clogged up there during that polar vortex. A polar vortex that got us out of class for 2 days or 1.5 days. That was nice. I appreciated that. Down to -50.
Yeah. It's been cool.
When you're at the point where you have 2 breaths with your nose and your nostrils freeze shut, or you breathe one with your throat and you cough.
Last thing, I was walking to class and I was like sniffling. I was like, I just blew my nose. Like, how is my nose already clogged up? But then you get inside and you get that whole different feeling. But yeah, it was, I don't know. Was Chicago cold? I think Chicago
that was
pretty
the
cold too.
coldest. I believe it was the coldest day on record.
Really?
At least wind chill wise. I'm not sure air temperature wise. Wind chill got down, I'm pretty sure, to -50 here. It was around that in Chicago. And air temp around here was -24, which is just unfathomable. Mm-hmm. And we just went through it. And now it's 41 degrees out. It's very ugly. It's very slushy. It's very brown. And I'm not sure which one I want more. I'm kind of begging for the polar vortex back because that means no school, and I'm fine with my nostrils freezing shut if it means that it's going to look pretty outside, because right now it does not look pretty.
You know, my high school is canceled Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday this week.
That's
what
awesome.
If we could have that?
That's a break. That's just
I know.
That's a polar vortex break. Can we do that every year, please?
Exactly.
16-second squeeze. That's how you, the listeners, have your chance to win a T-shirt every week. Alec, I'm going to tell the people how it works. We have 3 contestants every week. It's a margin of victory game where you face off against a recording of a person who has to name as many somethings as they can in 16 seconds. The margin of victory that you have between you and the recording is your number. Whoever has the largest margin of victory wins that T-shirt. I'll give you the number to call right before break. Today we have Brooke Shefcheck in. She's a swimmer. She's wanted to come on the squeeze for a long time, and I repeatedly told her, you got to do something first. You're a swimmer. The requirements for being on the squeeze are a little bit higher.
Very high.
So guess what? She went out and did something. She won 3 events at her last triangular here at St. Mary's for the season. Took first in the 100 breaststroke, the 500 freestyle, as well as the 1,000 freestyle. So she'll be in at 10:15. Very excited to talk to Brooke Shefcheck. I'm sure that you guys are going to laugh along with her just as much as everybody else does. We also have Andy Alleman coming in at 11 o'clock to talk sports, talk Super Bowl, football, basketball, anything. He's a basket of sports knowledge. I'm sure he would have had a show if he knew that this was a thing back when he was a freshman, but he is a senior this year. Very excited to talk to him again. Very good friend of the show, Andy Alleman. At 11, we're also going to talk men's and women's basketball at 10:30, men's and women's hockey at around 10:45. We got a lot of stuff to cover here today, including this little old event called the Super Bowl 53, Los Angeles Rams and New England Patriots. The Patriots, mind you, won their first Super Bowl in this era back when I was 2 years old. Yes, 2 years old. 17 years ago, the Patriots took down the Rams for Belichick's and Brady's first Super Bowl title. And in what may be his last, he goes up against the Rams again. So 17 years ago, Sean McVay is 33. He was 14?
Yeah.
17.
No.
16.
30, yeah, 16.
He was 16. He was 16
This
years
is
old
major.
when Tom Brady won his first Super Bowl, and now he is the head coach of the Los Angeles Rams, a Rams team that has been shrouded in controversy ever since that infamous no call in the NFC Championship game. The no call came with under 2 minutes left in the game, with the Saints on the Rams' 13-yard line. On a 3rd and 10 situation, quarterback Drew Brees threw an incomplete pass to Tommy Lee Lewis, but the Rams' nickel Robbie Coleman appeared to interfere. Not only did he appear to interfere, later commented on it and said, yeah, that's exactly what I was trying to do. He had me beat, and I wanted to interfere, and they just didn't call it. He was later fined the maximum fine for a helmet-to-helmet penalty, but the Saints did not get to move on. Many think that if that pass interference call was called, the Saints would be playing in the Super Bowl right now. I said it last week when I did the show alone. This was the Super Bowl I least wanted to see of the 4 variations. I'm sure a lot of people feel that way. What was your opinion on that terrible no call?
Well, initially I heard someone that they thought the ball was tipped by a defensive lineman, but then I was like, okay, that kind of makes a little sense. But after watching it, there's no way and chance that happened. But no, it was easily a bad call by the refs. I just get a blast out of everyone making all these jokes after it. Sean Payton just makes me hate him even more. I don't not like him at all. Ever since he beat the Vikings that year, and they somewhat cheated, I would say, as they went after Brett Favre all that much. But again, the Saints, besides Drew Brees and a little Michael Thomas, I don't like the Saints at all. The Rams, again, I don't really like them either. So again, I would rather see the Chiefs and the Saints, to be honest with you. Tom Brady, obviously, it's going to be fun to see, and the running game, but Patrick Mahomes would have been so much better, I feel.
Yeah, my favorite Super Bowl would have been the Chiefs-Rams, that rematch of that 54-51 game on Monday Night Football that would have been down in Mexico City if not for some bad field conditions. That would have been my favorite Super Bowl to watch. Then I think it would have been Patriots-Saints. That would have been pretty cool to see the 2 old guards going at each other one more time, Drew Brees and Tom Brady. Then probably Saints Chiefs would have been my 3rd, and then finally this matchup that we got. But nevertheless, it is a Super Bowl I will be watching. I'll be going down to the track house and having a little Super Bowl party. I know you're going down to La Crosse to watch it with your tennis guys, and no one is not excited. So in other words, everyone is excited when the Super Bowl comes around.
It starts at 5:30 too. That's going to be done by 9. Like it's not a super late Super. That's what I love about the Super Bowl. It starts early. You still got time to do stuff at night. You got to finish some homework after you can. So no, it should be a fun night.
Yeah, absolutely. So a fun night to cap off a fun weekend that I had. Friday night, didn't do much per usual. And then yesterday got up nice and early and made my way over to the beautiful city of Minneapolis to watch our basketball teams take on Augsburg. And as I'm pulling up to Augsburg, I realized that US Bank Stadium is right down the street. First time ever seeing that. First time ever really being in Minneapolis. It's an awesome city and a pretty good skyline. US Bank Stadium is very nice. And then I got to Augsburg, and the court has the skyline on the court.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Augsburg has a very nice facility, not much bigger than ours, but I think our gym could use a bit of a color change, maybe get some plastic colored bleachers instead of the washed out wooden ones. That's, just make the gym look a lot more professional, a lot more presentable. But hey, cross that bridge when you come to it. Let's work on the other things before
new athletic director.
We'll get there. We'll get there. More fundraising and such. But had a very fun day watching those teams go at it. And then I didn't get much sleep last night. Told Alec around 2 hours. So I am running on fumes here to talk to you guys. But hey, 2 hours in front of a microphone, in front of a camera, that's my favorite place to be. Alec, how was your weekend?
I had a good weekend. We had a tennis match on Friday against Northwestern University, who made the NCAA tournament last year, and we actually won 7-2. So it was a very big win. Obviously, we graduated a lot of players last season, but no, a big win for us. Yesterday, what did I do? Oh, I announced a women's hockey game, and they had a big win against Bethel. I'll talk about that later. And then I actually went by myself and watched a high school hockey game in Rochester. Two Rochester teams played each other. I'm a big, obviously, high school hockey guy, and there was a brawl at the end, which was kind of fun to watch. It was a 7-0 game, so I don't know why the team started to brawl. You're going to get your players suspended when you're down 7-0, but no, that's pretty much what my weekend did. We had a couple of recruits for tennis that came and hit, and they loved it down here, so it was cool.
So back to the weather. Yesterday, you said you drove to Rochester. I drove home from Minneapolis, and that fog, man, that fog was crazy. I'm not a weather expert, but I'm pretty sure the evaporation of all that snow on the ground.
Over.
It was getting to that point. I was going down 61, all those winding dark roads, and you can't put the high beams on because that just makes it worse. And I thought about it. It was pretty scary. I was going maybe 45, 50 miles an hour, and weather. It's been crazy. It's been pretty crazy.
70, 75.
Yeah, Alan just doesn't care. But hey, that road's a little bit nicer, a little bit straighter over there to Rochester. I know it well because I go to Chipotle about every other week.
Oh, I didn't know my way back, and my phone was at 1% at the hockey game, and I didn't know if I had to charge in the car, but thank goodness I found one.
It's pretty easy to get back. It's pretty much a straight line.
It's not hard.
Speaking of Chipotle, though, you want to guess how many times I went to Chipotle yesterday?
2.
Twice. There you go. You got it. Yeah, I got one burrito on the way there, one burrito on the way back for breakfast and for dinner. But hey, you know what? Now I'm good for at least a week.
Yeah.
I'll probably be right back there next weekend. Chipotle. I'm pretty transparent about it. It's pretty much my favorite chain restaurant. Brooke Chef Check will be here in just about 4 minutes. But before that, Alec, tell us about the X Games experience that you were so graciously given the opportunity to attend through St. Mary's University.
No, yeah, that was all because of Zach Mayo, our sports marketing, and he was also our sports management professor as well. Excuse me. But I think there's like 15 or 16 of us. We went to Colorado on Tuesday, and then Wednesday was kind of a training day. And then Thursday through Sunday during the actual Winter X Games, we actually did work. I was lucky enough to have one of the 2 social media positions out of all like 50, 60 students. And my job was to edit the content. So all the videos of all the live events and stuff, I would edit. And then YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, all the videos you see on the official X Games app is stuff I edited. And then like other students did stuff called X Fest. So you kind of help out at like some tents and then also guest services stuff. So, they just help with guests that might have some problems and stuff. But no, it was a great experience. Fun to put on my resume with an ESPN logo on my LinkedIn. So that's really fun. But yeah, no, I'm still logged in the X Games account on my phone right now. I probably shouldn't be. So everyone I tell that to say you should follow me and so you can get followed by the X Games. But I only do that for myself. I'm not doing that for anyone else.
What?
So
You didn't do it for the squeeze? Are you kidding?
I can't.
What type of producer are you, Alec Rude?
I can't get in trouble.
That's our way in. That's our way in right
I'm still trying to work the summer X Games, so I don't want to.
So you said that you edited the videos. So when you edit a video, you say you edited it. Is that how it goes? Edited it? I've always had trouble with this. I edited it. I edited it. Yeah. Okay. Brooke Chef Check coming up in just 1 minute. 507-457-1615 is the phone number if you want your chance to win a Squeeze t-shirt. 507-457-1615. Call during this next break. Brooke Chef Check will be in studio to talk to you, to talk just a little bit of swimming, because we're not really big fans of swimming. And I don't even know if Brooke is really a fan of swimming. So we're not going to talk a lot of swimming, but Brooke is a very likable person, a very funny person, and I'm sure you will enjoy the conversation coming up in just a couple minutes. 507-457-1615 is that phone number. Call that if you want to win a Squeeze t-shirt. Thanks for listening. We will be right back. You are listening to The Squeeze with Anthony Pasquazi, produced by Alec Rude on KSMR Radio, broadcasting live on 92.5 FM on campus and 94.3 FM in Winona, Minnesota, as well as online at smumn.edu/KSMR, KSMR Real College Radio. We have Mackenzie from Arizona. Turn that radio down so I can't hear myself. Who do you want to compete against here for the 16-second squeeze? Do you want Amanda, Claire, or Teresa? Amanda. So Amanda had 16 seconds to name as many elements on the periodic table as she could. Elements on the periodic table, 16 seconds, 3, 2, 1, go. Mackenzie, go.
Hydrogen, oxygen, magnesium, carbon, gold, silver, lithium, barium, nitrogen. Did I say that?
Okay, that's it. That's 9 for Mackenzie. That was a deep cut there. Lithium. That was a good one. Thanks for calling on The Squeeze. Stay tuned and listen if you find out if you win that t-shirt. Thanks for calling.
Yep, thank you.
Okay, have a great one. So there we go. That's 9 for Mackenzie. Now let's see how Amanda did. Amanda had 16 seconds to name as many elements on the periodic table as she could. In just a moment. Technical difficulties. Brooke Shevchak, how about you entertain the people as I load up?
Gosh, this is so much pressure.
Well, it's not working right now, so...
Well, currently in Winona, it is pretty good weather, I have to say.
Oh, here we go.
Elements on the periodic table as you can.
3, 2, 1, go.
Oxygen, helium, hydrogen, zinc, iron, uranium, graphite, copper.
So that's 8 for Amanda. So congratulations, Mackenzie. We have a positive number. Woohoo! Ooh, that's the phone. So we have a positive number. Mackenzie, congratulations. You're a +1. So if that remains the largest margin of victory over the course of the 3 contestants, you win that Squeeze t-shirt, a Squeeze t-shirt that Brooke is going to get for appearing here in studio. Thank you for entertaining the people just a moment ago. For those of you who don't know, this is Brooke Shevchak. She is a sophomore here at St. Mary's University on the swim and dive team. She is typically a long-distance swimmer. And as I mentioned just a few minutes ago, she won 3 events at their home triangular. Congratulations for that.
Thank you.
Now, what went right for you to win those 3 events?
Well, my times for the distance events were seeded a little faster than the other girls from the other teams. Just they have a strong program, just not in the distance area. So before the race, I knew that I had the wins in both of those. Coming into the 100 breast, it was a little up in the air. There were Erica Camarado on the smooth swim team, as well as another girl on another team. I can't remember exactly which one. All of our times were really similar, so it was really between the 3 of us, and I was able to pull through for the win. So
awesome. So you got no more meets left until MIAC Championships, which are on February 14th. Will we be seeing you there at the MIAC Championships?
Oh, most definitely, yes.
What events?
I will be swimming the 500, the 1,000, and the 400 IM, which for those of you that don't know swimming, that's swimming 100 of every stroke. And then I will be in all the freestyle relays as well as the 400 medley relay.
So your arms, legs, and body are going to be jelly at the end of the weekend.
Oh, most definitely.
Is it a multiple night event?
Yeah, we will be there until Sunday, which I believe is the 18th.
Okay, so it's a lot like track,
Yeah.
but not as much more grueling than track and field. That's for sure.
I don't know. I
think you're going to deserve a hot bath and some McDonald's
Thank you.
after that performance. Good luck.
Thank
a
you.
couple of weeks, and we'll, now that you've been on the show, we'll make sure that our audience knows how you do.
Hopefully it's good enough.
Well, congratulations for qualifying.
Thank you.
So, qualifying is a big deal here in the MIAC. Taking a step back, how do you think this season has gone so far, your sophomore season?
I'd say pretty good. I went into last season having a phenomenal season with so much improvement on my times. So I was a little weary about coming into this season, like, did I kind of peak last year? But thank goodness I didn't. I have swam the best times, probably in the best shape I've ever been in. So it's been super fun.
Yeah, that's always awesome to be peaking
Yeah.
right at the championship season. Do you have any shot of making nationals?
Oh, no, not at all.
Okay,
Not
well,
at
hey,
all.
you got 2 more years for that.
Maybe. I don't know.
Again, we'll keep everybody in the loop. We'll make sure they know that when Brooke Shevchuk makes
When
nationals,
I do.
when
Senior year.
senior year, when, then they'll know. What's your goal at MIAX? What would be a great day for you?
Well, I'm currently hoping to break 4 of our school records in the 500, the 400 IM, and then you're able to break records within a race. So breaking the 1,000 record while swimming the mile, and then also the mile record. We're also hoping to take down some of our relay records, so it should be fun. And hopefully I perform well, because I've had some disappointment in the past with being so close to the records, taking the second top time, being 0.6 seconds away from the 500 record at our midseason taper meet was a big disappointment. So using that anger to fuel me. Hopefully.
There we go. Yeah, anger probably helps in the pool. I would imagine.
Yeah.
So in high school, the swimmers were always the craziest people who got up at 4 a.m., went into the pool, and then had to go to school for 8 hours. So what is the typical day in the life of a smooth swimmer?
Typically we wake up at about 5:20 in the morning, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, go to lifting with Matt Sager, and then head to the pool for about a 45-minute practice, then go to days of classes and labs, making sure that we're getting our meals in, because food is essential for a swimmer. We eat a lot, and then headed over to the pool again at 4 o'clock for a 2-hour practice, trying to do some homework when you're not too tired, and going to bed pretty early.
My gosh, that's 3 a day. That's 3 a day practice. That's,
Oh yeah, but only 3 days a week. The other 2
Okay.
days are only one practice. So
Oh, only one practice. We sometimes in track, I don't know if tennis does it, but we'll have workouts in the pool, which really are a couple laps back and forth.
oh yeah, I was in track in high school, and I kicking down and back to the end of the pool was a breeze.
Yeah, no, not a breeze for me or the track team. So
No.
I really do understand the hardships that distance runners and swimmers go through. 2 things that
Very
I
similar.
don't want to do. So I commend you for
Oh,
picking
thanks.
such a crazy sport. A crazy sport that brought you to Hawaii just a couple
Oh,
weekends
yes.
ago. How about you tell us about that trip?
Well, I originally had never flown overseas before, and I'm not a big fan of flying, so that was probably the most difficult part.
Wow.
But once we were there, it was so beautiful. We were on the island of Kauai, which is the smallest of the big islands. There are chickens everywhere. They're just running the streets. But in terms of swimming, what we were actually there for, we had practice for 4 hours a day, 2 hours in the pool in the morning, and 2 hours in the pool at nighttime. But thankfully, they were pretty spread apart, so we could enjoy the day exploring the islands.
Yeah, that's awesome. Never been to Hawaii, and I hope I get to be. So
Yeah.
that's the furthest you've ever been from home, I'm assuming?
Yep.
Yep. Why? What's wrong with flying for you?
I get motion sickness, but just in planes, it's super weird. Or on the Gravitron at the carnival, the one that's been super fast. So
And
yeah.
that doesn't bring you to Hawaii.
No, it
So
doesn't.
at least when you
Brings
get
us
off
to
a
the
plane,
same spot. Yeah.
At least when you get off a plane, you end up in Hawaii.
Yeah.
And then you got to come back to the polar vortex. So
Oh,
congratulations. So what was the weather like in Hawaii?
it was about 80 degrees every day. If it rained, it was for like 5 minutes. So it was pretty great.
sounds pretty good.
Not a cloud in the sky.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good. I think I would have cried. So
Sorry.
man, that's tough. Hawaii, many great athletes from Hawaii. I couldn't name any. That was just a segue. Who is your favorite athlete of all time and why?
Ooh, this is tricky. I could go with the basic generic swimmer thing and say Missy Franklin. She's just a phenomenal athlete. Great she just recently retired, but throughout her whole career, she was fantastic. But the big thing that I like about Missy is her attitude out of the pool. She was said to be a great teammate. If she had a bad race, a lot of times swimmers kind of keep to themselves after a bad race, but she would go high five her teammates, make sure that they were pumped for their races. So very selfless teammate. And I'm big onto being a team and yeah, just a great athlete. There's a documentary on her called Touch the Wall. I've seen it a bajillion times. But yeah.
So, and Missy Franklin, she is, how old is she?
She's not that old. I
Yeah.
would say lower 20s.
Yeah, I think she's 20 or 21. Like
yeah.
she's
I was
right
gonna
around
say
our
21,
age,
yeah.
which is
23.
23. Okay. And her Olympics, I mean, that was 3 years ago. So she was 20 years old, almost 19 years old when she
Yeah.
broke through.
I'm pretty sure she went to her first Olympics when she was like 16.
Okay, that's what it was. Yeah, that was a
Yeah.
couple Olympics ago. That
Yeah. Oh,
very,
yeah.
very impressive. That's a very good role model for you to have.
Yes.
So I gave you the whole time to think about it. I'm putting you on the spot. Give us your best joke because I told everybody you're funny.
Oh gosh. Well, this is one that I saw the other day.
Here we
It
go.
says, "What does a gingerbread use for their linens on their bed?" Cookie sheets.
There we go. Brooke
It's
Shevchak.
not in the season, but whatever.
She'll be here all week, right? For her little comedy
Oh, right.
her comedy set. Brooke Shevchak, thank you so much for sitting in with us. We're going to take it to break. 507-457-1615 is the phone number. Mackenzie posted a very impressive one. So that's the number to beat if you want to win a t-shirt. Call us during the break, 507-457-1615. Thanks for listening. We'll be right back to talk track, basketball, and hockey. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. You're listening to The Squeeze with Anthony Pasquesi, produced by Alec Root on KSMR Radio, broadcasting live on 92.5 FM on campus and 94.3 FM in Winona, Minnesota, as well as online at smumn.edu/KSMR, KSMR Real College Radio. Last weekend, it was just me for an hour show in my bedroom on YouTube. So it was a little weird not having a radio show for a weekend. And I felt off, I'll be honest. And things were not in the places they should have been. I didn't have a beautiful microphone in front of my face, and I didn't have a beautiful
partner.
producer right next to me. But thanks for joining us here this weekend. There's a couple of you listening on the YouTube live stream. And Alec, how many listening on the radio?
10,024.
There we go. 10,024, down from our typical millions, but that's okay. 507-457-1615 is that phone number. Mackenzie, again, congrats on your number one right now. If the day ended, you would have that beautiful squeeze t-shirt. We're using the same word, beautiful, over and over and over again. We need to get ourselves a thesaurus. We're radio hosts. We should be a little bit better than this. 507-457-1615 is the phone number. Don't be afraid to interrupt us. We love being interrupted. It's one of our favorite pastimes. So track, that's the team that I'm on here at St. Mary's. Feels like everybody is an athlete here at St. Mary's. I think it's some 50% of people at this school.
I heard 30.
30%. Okay, that makes a little more sense. Are athletes, which is, pretty cool if you think about it. One of every 3 people plays a sport, and both of us do. But I run track. Sadly, I won't be competing in the indoor season. A little bit of a medical red shirt action, which is okay. I can still root on my teammates, especially when they're doing very well, which they have been lately. The St. Mary's University of Minnesota men's and women's track and field teams are like a bottle of fine wine, says Donnie Nadeau. They just keep getting better with age. The Cardinals collected 15 top 5 finishes, including one meet record at the non-team scored Luther Alumni Meet Saturday afternoon. Rachel Odie was that record breaker, leading the Cardinals, winning the women's high jump with a meet record 1.62 meters, a jump that she has been stuck at for a couple of weeks, but every time she matches her PR, and that's got to be a good feeling. As a long jumper, you almost never match your PR. You almost never get your PR. But as a high jumper, you're pretty much stuck at that same height over and over and over again. David Kemper, the All-American pole vaulter, PR'd for the first time in eons, which was awesome for him. Very glad that he got that win in the pole vault. Sydney Klauser, the freshman standout, took first place in the 200 meter, and she sits in 5th place in the conference, which is awesome for a freshman to be that high up in the MIAC. She also took 2nd place in the long jump and is in the top 10 in the MIAC in that as well. An all-around stud athlete. I talked to Coach Niels Anderson last night and just asked the question, did you know she was this fast? And even he said, not really. So she has been quite the standout this season. On the men's side, Kyle Lichtenegger won the 60 and Christian Beamer won the high jump, as well as the 4x200 meter relay team, posting a winning time of 1 minute 34 seconds. Desmond Stewart, David Kemper, Tyler Amy, and Nathan Hoagland all chipped in with 2nd place performances. Dean Marlin and Matthew Boone took 3rd place. Congrats to my teammates there at the Luther Alumni Meet. Sad I couldn't be there, but where I was at Augsburg to watch our very good men's and women's basketball teams. 2 teams that have had drastically different expectations from me the entire season long. The women, I said, you know what? They're going to make the playoffs. We know they're going to make the playoffs. And a couple weeks ago, I told you guys that they were going to host a playoff game, and that's not looking too likely anymore. And then on the men's side, we knew that, hey, you can only go up from 1-24. And up they have gone. They looked very good yesterday. They also looked awesome against St. Olaf. Back-to-back losses, sad to say, against 2 playoff teams. St. Olaf, they took them to overtime. Sawyer Rosner, Eli Cave, both came out of that game with 27 points, as well as a very fresh Twitter video from Eli Cave's father detailing his 3-point shot and then his overtime ceiling block. Very awesome sequence there. The Squeeze did retweet that video, so if you want to go check it out, follow the Squeeze at the Squeeze4. Eli Cave still not on the pace he was when I said MIAC Player of the Year, but that's okay. Still averaging nearly 20 points a game and in the top 10 in rebounds. But you know who is going to be the MIAC Player of the Year, probably for the next 2 seasons, and that is Booker Copeland, a junior from the Augsburg Augies, a guy who I was very excited to watch yesterday. He leads the MIAC in points, rebounds, free throws, free throw percentage, steals, almost in blocks, and this guy is only 6'3". I noted that he has one of the best motors I've ever seen in a Division III basketball player. Good-looking kid, too. He's a good-looking kid. He's just all around. I'm jealous of him. He put down one of those dunks that was not a going up dunk. It was a slamming down dunk. He almost got his head on the rim. He came out of that game with around 22 points, if I do remember that correctly. But in the first half, something that I noted was that Caden Freetley, freshman who was on the show a couple weeks ago, held Booker Copeland, hands down, unanimous MIAC Player of the Year in my eyes, which is why it's unanimous, because there's one me. He not locked Booker Copeland down for 7 first half points. And yeah, there were a couple double teams, and you got to help with this guy. He's super quick, super athletic, and he can go up on just about anybody, except apparently Caden Freetley. Caden did not, I was nothing but impressed with the play of this young man against against Gustavus. He had 17 points, 4 blocks, 4 steals, 12 rebounds, an all-around game. He's truly coming into his own. He played 38 minutes in this game last night. Booker Copeland, his coach, probably changed up the game plan at halftime because he had a very good second half, a few more screens and rolls. And Cardinals, when you switch on to that guy, it's kind of hard to defend.
He is a good-looking kid.
Yeah, I'm telling you, he is. If you want to go look him up, as Alec just did, because he didn't trust that I had an eye for that type of thing, he is a good-looking kid, and he's averaging 26 points a game. There was another guy on the Augsburg Augies, however, who stole the show, and that was Martin Mitchell. I could have sworn it was Klay Thompson because he hit how many threes? 8. He hit 8 3-pointers in this game. They were going up, and they were going in. He was unstoppable, unconscious, came into that game only averaging around 8 points and shooting only 3-12 from 3-point range. Man, that was that just makes you think. If he didn't have a career day by far, the Cardinals were one player away from beating a playoff team.
Mm-hmm.
And they were a couple possessions away in that Olaf game, that overtime Olaf game, from beating another playoff team. This team lost a few key pieces after Christmas break. They lost 7 straight games, then won 1. Now have lost 2 straight, but both of these last 2 losses have been great losses. I say that a lot with this team. I see a lot of good things, and I sound like a broken record saying it, so I'm not gonna talk about it anymore. Moving from the men to the women. 1/3 of the 3 teams that are most likely going to make the playoffs here in the winter season. The women's basketball team has come off of 2 great wins against St. Ben's and Gustavus to 2 pretty bad losses against St. Olaf and Augsburg. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I was pretty angry. Not with them, just with the fact that they lost to St. Olaf, a team that is at the bottom of the MIAC, on a night when St. Ben's, a team that they had already beaten, beat Bethel.
We're up by 8 points with 8 minutes left, too. And lost by 7.
We dominated that game until the end. I believe they went on a 17-9 run, something like that, to finish that game out. 17-1 run. I apologize. They just didn't look themselves. There was McKenna Ash, who had a great game down in the post, senior for St. Olaf, as well as Kaylin Lewis, who was just banking in the threes. I talked to Jada Biermeyer after their game yesterday. She said that they were on the same AAU team, and I asked her if that's her thing, and she said totally, and it's weird as heck because it is. She just kept banking the threes. She did the first one, you're like, that was lucky. Then she did the second one, you're like, there's something going on here. And then she did it again. You're like, this is a thing. This is what she does. She aims for the backboard, and it's kind of confusing. But she had 26 points, 27 points. I know you called that game. She is their leading scorer, and she's only a freshman. Very impressive stuff from Caitlin Lewis. Brooklyn Paulson of our Cardinals has had a good couple of games. She had double digits in that Olaf loss, and then she had 8 points yesterday against Augsburg. Augsburg has 3 players who are averaging 2 or more steals a game, and they used that to their advantage yesterday. Almost every offensive rebound came on the Augies side, and there was a reason for that. At first, I was like, guys, get the rebound, squeeze the ball. Squeeze. And then I realized, man, Augsburg, they're just more athletic. They're faster. They jump higher. And it's hard to beat a team that plays like that. Now, they were shooting the ball well, but I said it to my dad on the way home, on the phone call home. I said, man, if we play this Augsburg team in the playoffs, if we play them one more time, I feel like we're going to solve them. Because in that first half, We had a nice lead, 3-point lead going into halftime. It was looking real good for the women, and then things just fell apart. I believe 7 second half points. 7. Not a single point from Brandy Blattner, not a single point from Brooklyn Paulson. They shot 2 of 33 from the field. It was abysmal. It really, there's no sugarcoating it. I'm sure if we had Coach Foley in here, he'd say the exact same thing. But you know what? They got 4 games left, and we were talking about it a little earlier. They basically need, the magic number is 2. They either need 2 wins or they need 2 losses from both St. Kate's and Hamlin. Hamlin and St. Kate's arguably have 2 of the easiest schedules remaining in the conference, and St. Mary's still has to play Bethel and St. Thomas. So they need to win against Kate's and McAllister if they really want to lock up this playoff spot heading into that final game with St. Thomas. It's getting a little nerve-wracking. They went from tied for 3rd at the top of the MIAC to now in 6th place on the bubble. Things not looking very good for the women's basketball team, but you know what? I feel like they're going to pull it out. I have a lot of confidence in these players, and I know they have a lot of confidence in themselves. Enough about the court. Let's go to the ice. Alec Rude, tell me how our hockey teams have been doing.
Yeah, no, shockingly, our men's team, we knew they had a shot at the playoffs for quite a bit, but now the women's hockey team is 3 points out of the last spot for the playoffs. If we go to women's hockey to start it off, a cool fact actually, out of their past 11 games, they've gone to overtime 7 times. In their past 11 games, they've gone to overtime 7 times. And they tied once again on Friday night. They tied Bethel 2-2. Scoring there was defensive standout Natalie Ryan, and then also forward standout Bailey Went. So that was a good 2-2 tie for them. Ari Ziakis had saved 33 of 35. And then I called the game on Saturday. Almost went to overtime yet again, but the Cardinals pulled away 2-1. Courtney Jantz got her first Cardinal goal ever, and then Bailey Went also another goal. So that's a huge win for them. Next week, again, it's going to work out for them. They have an easier schedule. They play Hamlin next week, who is pretty tough. They're nationally ranked. They're 5th in the nation, so pretty tough. But then they play St. Olaf, who's 0-12-2 in the conference. And then, again, they're 3 points out of the playoffs. Concordia sits above us 3 points, and Concordia has the 3rd and 4th ranked team left on their schedule. So, again, if St. Mary's wins the 2 games they should and Concordia doesn't win any, which – according to the standings, obviously it's probably not going to work out. They should, and the Cardinals would make the playoffs. So, again, we were just talking out of basketball and hockey. If we can get 3 out of 4 teams in the playoffs, that'd be pretty cool. And then men's hockey, again, they sit in that final 5th playoff spot. 5 teams make the playoffs. They defeated Bethel 4-1 on Friday night. Owen Sikic, Tommy Stang, Lance Herning, his first goal. The transfer for spring semester, he got his first Cardinal goal, and then Ryan Stonich also added one. That was a big 4-1 win, but then they got defeated 5-2 last night at Bethel. So, again, the Cardinals currently sit 5th. They're 2 points ahead of Gustavus with 4 games left, but the Cardinals play the bottom 2 teams in the MIAC for the remaining, and Gustavus plays, I think, the 3rd and 4th team in the MIAC. So, again, it's looking good. Men, if everything plays out like it should, both men's and women's should make the playoffs, but men should probably like 80% should. Women, I would say it's around 50% that they should make the playoffs. So it's going to be fun. And with women's basketball being right in that mix, men's basketball even having some exciting games. We're going to call the Bethel one on Wednesday. It's going to be a fun couple of weeks coming up.
Yeah, you and I are going to be busy bees in our cars driving all these away playoff games. Hopefully next season we move up and we get some home playoff games. But as of right now, I guess that's a little too much to ask. But very good seasons all around for all of the winter sports. They've all been fun to watch. I mean, there hasn't been a team this year. Last year there were a couple teams that were just absolutely you almost couldn't watch them because they were that bad. And this year every team has been in almost every single game. Granted, not when the hockey team plays, the top 3 schools in the nation for their first 6 games. I don't know what that was all about.
That's the thing. Our men's hockey team is 5-13-3 overall, and right now, if the season would end, they'd make the MIAC playoffs. That shows how hard their schedule is. So, again, props to them for sticking with it. You're 5-13-3, and you're going to make the MIAC playoffs probably. That's pretty cool.
It is impressive stuff. You looked at their record, and at one point, I mean, they had 1 win.
It's 1-10-1, I think.
1-10-1, and I asked Blair Sanders, good friend, how, are you guys gonna make the playoffs? And he said, yeah. I mean, 1-10-1, and you're telling me that you have that much confidence that you're gonna actually make the MIAC playoffs. And you know what? It's looking like he was right. So
And if they make the playoffs and they win 3 straight games, they're in the NCAA tournament.
ooh,
How cool is
okay,
that?
that's-
That'd be.
that's asking a little much.
You never know.
Of course, I mean, I'm begging for the Hawks to get in on that 8th seed so I can actually watch some NHL hockey, because that's the only time I watch NHL hockey is when it's playoff hockey. But
It's fun playoff.
I watch Division III hockey all the time. It's
Yeah.
kind of funny when you think about
Division
it.
One's pretty cool too.
Yeah, my friend Bobby Nardella is on the Notre Dame Fighting
They're
Irish.
struggling this year, man.
I haven't checked in, but I
They're
heard my
struggling.
dad saw him on TV, and he's doing well.
Was he on the team last year?
He was on the team
I
last
was
year.
at the national
There
championship
you
game
go.
for him
You
last
were
year.
in the same building as him.
Oh my god.
You were blessed, or maybe he was blessed. I don't know.
He was blessed.
We got a comment. Tim Rude, I suspect related to Alec Rude in some way, shape, or form, asks, when are you going to have to eat your beet? Eat your beet.
It says mom.
And it's from your mom. Oh, I didn't see that part. Never mind. It's from mom. Well, sadly, mom, I couldn't ask Alec, my producer, to go get the beets because why would he do that? And then I forgot myself to go buy the canned beet. But next week, I promise all of you, I will make him eat the beet. I will make him eat the beet. There's nothing in it for me. There's nothing wrong with it for me. So why would I not want him to eat the beet?
Wait, who do you think's going to win the Super Bowl?
No, we're not doing a bet.
Go
We're not doing
on.
no, we're not doing
Double
double
or
or nothing.
nothing.
Okay, on 3, 2, 1, when I count down, say who's going to win the Super Bowl. We haven't talked about this at all. We're not doing a bet, but let's just see because I'm pretty sure we have the same answer. 3, 2, 1.
Patriots.
Patriots. Okay, yeah. So I don't think that's
Tom Brady.
gonna work. Yeah, Tom Brady. You can't bet against him unless you're me at the beginning of the squeeze this year when I said Tom Brady's not going to win a single playoff game for the rest of his career. Yeah, that's looking real great for me. If you want to go back
And
and
the
listen,
Chargers winning the Super Bowl.
and you had some
Money
you
on
had
it.
some skin in the game there. I was.
I don't
rooting
bet,
for 'em.
though.
Oh no. Skin in the game. I meant like pig skin. Like you were
It was
just
like
you had some footballs. You were betting footballs.
it's
that-
fake money.
yeah,
Just for
I mean
fun.
it's monopoly money. It's because eligibility wise,
Yeah.
we're upstanding NCAA athletes. We'd never do that, right?
Yeah, Brian Sisson is not listening.
No, absolutely not. No, we'd never do that. 507-457-1615 is the phone number. We're waiting on another 16-second squeeze call at this moment. If an asteroid hit the Earth, at least Mackenzie would have a T-shirt. 507-457-1615. That's a good way to look at it, right? For her.
Would we all be dead?
Well, that's the joke, Alec. So we're
How
all,
did she get the shirt then?
well, she just, I don't know, she'd die with the knowledge that she's getting a free shirt.
Everyone would die with this shirt on. Do you have your shirt on?
I don't.
Oh.
That would be funny. I wonder how many people, we've given away like 30 shirts.
Keenan Freely had it on, and he was working out the other day.
Awesome. That's the whole point. I want people to wear it so that we get some, get some free publicity. Oh no, why did I say
Donnie
that?
Natum brought it up to me.
Oh, he
when
wants
we
a
were
shirt?
talking. He wants to be on the show.
Okay, let's bring him on next weekend. Let's talk to him about some playoff smooth sports.
Guess who's going to be on the Cardinal Nest next Wednesday?
Alec Rude.
Yeah.
Why am I not on the?
I'm
the
talking
Cardinal
about the
Nest?
X Games.
Whatever, man. Whatever. It's okay. You're just my producer's just jumping above me on the good old YouTube
Probably be on there for like 5 minutes.
hierarchy on the Cardinals Nest. It's a weekly show, Cardinals Nest by Donnie and HBC. Is that right?
Yeah, Beckman.
Dean Beckman's on there all the time. And is it run by HBC and it's just on YouTube, or is it a St. Mary's?
It's run by St. Mary's.
Oh, it is? Okay. HBC is, of course, the television broadcasting service that many of our games here at St. Mary's are broadcast on. And I also realized that they broadcast a lot of high school sports.
A lot.
That's crazy to me because the only high school sports that are ever broadcast are on a very weird channel in Chicago, and it's only when the number 1 team is going up against the number 2 team.
There's this one website for Minnesota high school hockey that you can search. There's 30 games every night that are broadcasted.
That's
you
nuts.
Can just click on the link.
Do you guys have anything else to do?
No, it's
That's
high school
it.
sports here. Nothing
High school
else.
sports.
That's my life. Is
I
high
mean,
school
the
sports.
Gophers suck in almost everything except hockey.
They're bad this year.
Oh, they're bad this year.
Yeah.
There you go. I mean, a Minnesota school. How
They're
would
not
you
good.
imagine that? We were talking about it before the show. I went to Augsburg, as you all know, and I looked at the banners in the basketball court. Just take a second. If you don't know this, listen to me because I'm about to teach you something. From 1963 until 2003, except for 1981 for some reason, the Augsburg Augies won the MIAC in wrestling. From 1963 minus 1 year until 2003, They were the wrestling MIAC team. And since 2003, I'm pretty sure they just broke the MIAC, so the MIAC wrestling just faded. Now it's just regional championships. They've won every regional championship since 2003. They've also won 12 natties since 1991. And yes, I have those memorized off the top of my head because that's how blown away I was by how good they are. Alec, tell me why, as a outsider of the Minnesota sports realm, why is Augsburg so good at wrestling?
Yeah, so I go to this is what I was thinking. I go to the state high school state high school wrestling tournament every year with one of my best buddies. And so
Man, you guys really have nothing to do you?
I go to
It's just high school sports.
I go to everything.
That's crazy.
Everything. I have a tennis match Friday night, and then I'm going to state high school hockey tournament Saturday, and then coming back for my tennis match Sunday.
Do you even know these people? Why are you going to high school hockey games?
For the love of the game, dude.
Oh my gosh. Then watch NHL games. You're watching
It's not fun. I would rather watch a high school hockey game than a wild game.
I don't get
Hands
it.
down.
I don't get it, but why is Augsburg good at wrestling?
Okay, so wrestling in Minnesota is actually very, very strong, very strong. I would say they were top 10, top 5 states in the whole U.S. at it. I think Indiana's really good, and then one other, maybe Michigan. But so Minnesota and then South Dakota State are kind of the main areas that aren't like other Big Ten schools where Minnesota wrestlers go. And if you want to stay closer to home, then Augsburg is the only really wrestling school in Minnesota besides the U, St. Cloud State, and then some other ones. So there's not many opportunities besides Augsburg for the D3 level. So they have a lot of good Minnesota wrestlers that are on their team. So if that makes sense.
I mean, that's next level domination. That's such a random sport to be that good at, but you won the MIACs for 40 years. I guess,
They play at Winona State in 2 Saturdays.
maybe we should go.
Wrestle out.
I've never been to a wrestling match in my life. Never. Not once. It's kind of weird, isn't it?
It's
It's
not.
kind of weird.
A team one's not that fun to watch. At State, it's fun to watch.
Yeah, I'm sure it's still kind of weird. I don't know. I'm not about it.
Yeah,
I'm not
Winona
about the whole
State,
wrestling thing.
10 a.m. February 16th.
Yeah, there you go. Wrestling's weird. I'm not gonna let it go. It's weird. It's okay. The Augsburg's really good at it, and that's really all that matters.
That's their last wrestling match before the NCAA tournament.
You mean before they win regionals and then probably win the national championship?
No, they lost to Wartburg 16-15.
Yeah, but they're still number one.
Wartburg's my team.
Okay. You know what? I'm rooting for the underdog. Wartburg College. I'm following Division III college wrestling for the rest of my life just to see Augsburg get dominated.
We should go to the NCAA tournament.
No.
It's in Virginia. Come on.
No. If a St. Mary's school makes it, maybe.
Regions in Eau Claire.
Okay.
That's a possibility.
I'm not watching wrestling. But speaking of dominance, St. Thomas, I don't know the numbers like I know for Augsburg, ironically enough. But St. Thomas in track and field, I think they've won every indoor track and field MIAC championship since the indoors started 40 years ago or something like that. It's almost unfair. I feel like we need to sanction these guys, or we need to limit the amount of athletes they can have on their team. They just win every year. What's the point? We go to conference and we're like, well, yeah, if we could get 5th place, that'd be awesome. St. Thomas literally will say, if we don't win, something wrong happened. And even last year, Carleton had an awesome lineup set to go against St. Thomas, and they still fell some 30 points short in the entire meet. It's just not even fair. What's the point? What's the fun of going to St. Thomas? It's like they win. They get a banner every single year. Doesn't that kind of hurt the value of the banners?
Yeah, underdogs are the best.
Exactly. Could you imagine if St. Mary's was the team that finally took down St. Thomas? I would go crazy.
Men's hockey, MIAC final this year.
St. Thomas, St. Mary's.
St. Mary's wins 4-3, 5 overtimes.
Okay. Pin it down. Anybody, timestamp it. 507-457-1615 is the phone number. Coming up in 5 minutes, we have Andy Alleman coming in to talk about professional sports. Anything you want to know professional sports, he's pretty good at it. He's not as good at it as I am. He's a little better than you, maybe. I don't know. No, I'm just kidding. But he's a very nice guy, very good talker. Very excited to talk to him. 11 o'clock. Andy Alleman, 507-457-1615 is the phone number. I'm just stalling because we're running a little bit behind. 507-457-1615 is the phone number. You want to call us at that number to talk anything. Just tell me how you feel. Tell us how you feel. Doesn't even have to be about sports. Or if you want to win a t-shirt, that's cool too. 507-457-1615. Have you memorized that number yet? Is it in your head?
No.
It isn't? I say it 30 times a Sunday.
Whenever you say it, I just
You don't listen.
no.
Well, I'm
busy.
This is the phone number you hear more than any phone number.
457-657.
Oh gosh, what?
No.
507-457-1615.
Same thing.
Anything I say, it doesn't mean anything to him. Say it here. Say it. Let's do it. I just said it.
507-457-1615.
There you go. Woohoo! You did it. Can you memorize? Do you know any other phone number? Do you know your parents' phone numbers?
Yeah. I don't even know my
Yo,
social
Sam.
security.
I don't know either.
My
My
mom
mom hates
yeah,
it.
my mom gets
Oh
mad.
my God, she hates it.
We should just start practicing it on live air.
No, you shouldn't do that. You definitely shouldn't. I think they'd be more angry. 507-457-1615 is not my social security number. It's the KSMR phone number. 507
It might be
457.
someone's.
1615. No, social security numbers aren't that long. Okay, Andy Alleman coming up in 3 minutes. Stay tuned. Thanks for listening. Come on, guys. You're just going to give Mackenzie the t-shirt? I mean, I'm fine with giving it to her, but I don't know that you're fine with it. 507-457-1615. Stay tuned. We will be right back. You are listening to The Squeeze with Anthony Pasquazi, produced by Alec Root on KSMR Radio, broadcasting live on 92.5 FM on campus and 94.3 FM in Winona, Minnesota, as well as online at smumn.edu/KSMR. KSMR Real College Radio. Alec, what's the phone number?
507-457-1615.
Attaboy, there we go. I'm so happy that you finally know the phone number. Andy Alleman is sitting right here. That's how you pronounce it, right?
Yep. Yes, sir.
Okay, I've been saying it right all day.
Yep.
Good. What is this, like fourth time's the charm?
Third or fourth.
Third, fourth time's the charm. Andy is a OG squeeze guest, and he's
Yes, sir.
graduated from guest to almost, co-star. He's we're just gonna
I'm just here to have some fun with a couple of guys, just talking some sports. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
exactly. I said it during the break to Andy. I'm like, we did not structure anything for this. We're talking 10 to 15 minutes of just football. That's our structure. Football.
Tell me that there's nothing better on Super Bowl Sunday
Than talking about football. I mean, there
Absolutely
isn't.
nothing.
You can't really beat it.
from now until about 10 o'clock when that game is done, or 9:30. I don't know. All football.
Yeah, where you
And
watching
It's
it?
gonna be glorious. I'm going to a friend's place in La Crosse. We're gonna kick back, have some dip, some wings maybe, and have a time.
Okay. Well, I thought I was going to the track house, but I guess I'm not. I guess they're not hosting people. So
No.
I don't know where I'm watching it anymore.
Yeah, you guys will figure something out.
I'm
sure.
begging for an
I'm going to
invite. Is
lacrosse
someone
as
going to
well.
invite me?
At this guy's house.
Okay, so Super Bowl. I don't know if we want to start with the Super Bowl or we want to talk
You know
about
what?
Championship Sunday.
What do you guys want to do? I
We
think
just get the Super Bowl out of the way.
yeah,
Let's
might
get
as
the
well.
Super Bowl out of the
might
way.
as well.
So we already said our prediction. I don't know if you were listening.
Do you have a score?
I hate doing that because
34-20 Patriots.
Yeah, you don't know that though.
That's
Yeah.
going to be the score.
That is-
I just told you
that's
what the
gonna
final
be-
score is going to
It's
be.
gonna be so tough. This game is so tough to predict. There's no big favorite. It's a game. It's literally two brilliant head coaches, a defensive coach that's a mastermind for how long versus the young upstart offensive coach. And it's just there's just so many chess pieces, and these guys are the masters playing on the board. I just think I really don't know how this game's
I was
going to go.
listening
I
to-
legitimately have no guess about who's
I was
gonna
listening to the
win.
radio last night, and they were saying that this Super Bowl is not like
Mm-mm.
highly talked about than like any other one. Like they're saying like there's just no like they were comparing it like what if the Dallas Stars, what if Emmitt Smith wasn't maybe not going to play? Like that's what Todd Gurley is. No one's talking about it. Like no one's like even like okay.
I will say Gurley's had a pretty crappy playoff run. I mean,
Yeah,
he
he's been
hasn't
hurt.
done
He's been
anything.
hurt.
I
Yeah.
don't think
He's been hurt.
I don't think he's been.
He
that
was hurt. He missed a game, and ever since then he hasn't been the same.
The
Yeah,
last game.
So he was hurt for the Eagles game or the Bears game, something like that. He got hurt in one of those
Eagles,
two games.
yeah,
And then he sat out the last two regular season games. He had a first round bye. He had 3 weeks to get that right. And then that Cowboys game though, he did go off. I will say that. But the week after against the Saints, he had like 4 carries, 10
That's-
yards.
Let's be honest. Alec probably could have went off against that Dallas or defensive front.
They have a pretty good defensive front.
They
were pretty
ran for
locked
270
Well,
Yeah,
you
yards.
don't
and that
understand
was-
about me.
down. And that
That you're a great running back. You're just
I played
That's
quarterback in 8th grade.
I will say that Dallas defensive front was good all year until that game. That game was an anomaly. I will say that. It was an
no,
anomaly.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
good until then.
Dallas next
So-
season's gonna be dangerous.
Yeah, you
I
know
think
who else
so.
is?
Chicago.
The Bears.
No, they're gonna go down.
Yeah, I'm talking to a Vikings fan and a not a Steelers fan, a Packers fan.
I'm a Chargers fan.
And
Alexander, right on the
Philip
right on
Rivers
the old
MVP
chest.
next year. You heard it here.
yeah, that's
We'll see.
fine, but it doesn't matter because Khalil Mack's going to be Defensive Player of the Year, or Roquan Smith,
Back-
or Eddie Jackson, or Kyle Fuller, or literally any of them. They could all win it. I mean, it's going to be fine.
Back to the game though. I will say I think Gurley is due for a good game.
Yeah.
No, the over/under is 75. I bet the house on under.
I think the Patriots with the 2 running backs, so I think Michelle and James White are just gonna go
dude.
off.
It's
I
gonna
think they're
be
gonna have such a good game.
I mean, we talked about it. You said 2 touchdowns. That's a blowout Super Bowl win. 2 touchdowns.
I think it's gonna be close until like I
Garbage
think
time.
they're gonna get above double digits like the first 5 minutes of the fourth quarter. That's
Okay.
when they're gonna increase it.
I, from the start, the second, and this is the problem that I have. I can't remove the bias. The last time I watched the Rams with a betting interest, not betting, but like a rooting interest, was when they played the Bears. And they didn't score a touchdown on the Bears. And the Bears are awesome. The Bears defense is the best defense in the league this season, was. So that's my last image of this Rams team, seeing them not score a touchdown. So I cannot get past that, and I can't sit here and try to convince myself that they're not going to lose by 2-3 touchdowns to the New England
but
Patriots.
they're a dome team. They don't take the weather well.
That's
and
true.
It was bad weather.
It was bad weather. It was bear weather.
It was bear weather. It was Midwest weather. I don't know. It's gonna be. I think it's gonna be a really good Super Bowl. I think we're in for a good one.
I don't know. I got a feeling. I got a feeling that it's going to be ugly. It's going to be ugly quick. I think the Patriots are going to steamroll this team.
Yeah.
They've had, 8 Super Bowl appearances?
Yeah.
Since I was 2, which is crazy.
I think it's 9 now. I think this is the 9th Super Bowl I've been to.
Yeah, well, that's what they've had 8.
They've been 8.
And all of them have been close. There hasn't
Yeah.
been a single blowout in either direction.
Yeah.
They've won 5?
Yeah,
They've lost 3.
Yeah.
Who'd they lose to? They lost to the Giants twice
And the Eagles.
and the Eagles last year.
And you know what? No one gave the Eagles a chance. And
Yeah.
I loved
guess,
that. I
I
loved
guess.
that Foles
I
did
guess,
that. And
I
it
guess.
didn't, the game didn't even make sense. Brady threw for 500 yards, 3 touchdowns. He wasn't even sacked until like one of the last plays of their offense, like one of the last plays of the fourth quarter, you know, when they were driving down there and they were about to score. And then I want to say Brandon Ingram forced the fumble. One of the other defensive ends recovered it, and that was pretty much game. I mean, it was just a weird game. It wasn't how you normally beat Brady because I mean he was going off, but Foles did his magic.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really make a lot of sense that they beat the Bears either. But you know what? It happened. Like that's just.
No, that's just Nick Foles for you.
Do you know what I saw? Speaking of the Bears-Eagles game, the double doink, I saw on Twitter an Adam Schefter tweet from 2011 that said Robbie Gould has been signed for $15 million or something like that, and I freaked out because I didn't see it was from 2011. I'm like, why the hell did we sign Robbie Gould for $15 million? So it got me. Whoever retweeted that, good game, good game.
That's funny.
Cooked them.
Hey, one quick
love
topic before I leave this in my head. Why? I know the Super Bowl was on US Bank last year, but I'm just sick of having the Super Bowl in Florida, Arizona, California, and Atlanta, like 9 of 10 years. Like, why can't Lambeau like host it or something? Like, how
Weather.
cool would that be?
It's
Weather.
weather.
I think that'd be so cool.
Well, just think about it. I agree.
Okay.
I agree, going, but like, think about the polar vortexes.
I was just about to say.
Like, if it would have been like 25 below this Sunday instead of a few days ago, and you had it in Lambeau, people aren't going outside. Everyone's cooped up. That's
You wouldn't be able to play the game, dude. I mean, we couldn't go to school, and that was for good reason because you'll die if you're out there for 10 minutes.
Yeah, frostbite. So that's I mean, and like, you know, some of the smaller markets, I remember I was watching NFL films one time back in 2004 when the Patriots and the Eagles were playing in Jacksonville, and they just didn't have enough room. They just didn't have enough hotels in the city, and they had to keep people on like cruise yachts.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, they had to. That's where people were like rooming.
Sounds like the Fire Festival.
Yeah. So then I think it has something to do with just the sheer amount of housing you can have. You know,
He did what for the water?
sheer amount of housing that you can have for people.
Did you hear me?
What?
I said he did what for the water? You know that. Okay. Over the head. I guess you guys haven't seen the Fire Festival documentary. Very good stuff. Netflix Fire Festival. Have you heard about the Fire Festival?
No.
Oh, okay. So rundown. It was this thing for rich white kids. It was going to be this awesome music festival in the Bahamas on an island run by this crazy dude, Billy McFarland, who's this awesome entrepreneur, also serial liar. So he got all these money from these people, stealing thousands, millions of dollars from these people to build this fire festival. They showed up. They were promised, I mean, luxury cabanas and sushi and just all this stuff.
Yeah.
They showed up. They were tents and cheese sandwich. And it was a nightmare. So I go check it out, Fire Festival on Netflix. I'm surprised you guys haven't heard of it. And when you watch it, you'll understand the joke. He did what for the water? Because you'll know it. I promise you'll know it. But back to football. Who do you have in the Super Bowl? You haven't even said it yet.
I really cannot choose. I seriously don't know. I think this is going to be such a close game. I could see it. Okay, I could see it either being a blowout either way. I could also see it being a very close game. I really don't know. I want to go Rams, but I just got maybe a gut feeling a little bit more towards the Patriots.
Would you rather see a different Super Bowl matchup than this was from
God.
last week?
I don't think.
Yes.
Well, I don't think the Saints would have been any better. I don't think they would have fared any better. I think the Patriots would have beat them too.
Would have been more fun to see Mahomes.
Yes.
Yeah. Mahomes and the Rams and the Chiefs part 2 this season. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I said at the beginning of the year that that Tom Brady was never going to win another playoff game again. I'm very wrong. But that's because I have this, I don't want to say hatred because I respect the heck out of this team.
Yeah.
I just don't like it.
Well, yeah, no one likes dynasties. You know, he's won 5 championships since we were around, basically. He's been basically our entire lifetime has been
Tom
his
Brady.
reign of dominance in
Absolutely.
the NFL.
Also, the city of Boston, just insufferable. Did you see that billboard? It was 89 days since our last ring. Let's end the streak. Come on. Just terrible.
It is a great sports town though.
Oh yeah, you can't beat it.
Do we wanna even bring up what happened in the Superdome?
We talked about it earlier, but we didn't hear your opinion. What do you
I
got?
think it was a bad no call. I'll give him that. But then I saw a quote that Sean Payton was like, "Yeah, my team just couldn't get over it. You know, we were we were too like upset with how that call went that we couldn't gather ourselves in overtime. Get
Please.
over it, please. You guys had a chance. One, they could have stopped the Rams on defense, so that was a chance. Two, you had the ball in overtime. I mean, like what more do you want? You had your chances.
The
You know what I
Chiefs could complain more than they did because they didn't even get a chance.
Yeah, the Chiefs didn't even get a chance to touch the ball in overtime. The Saints, it was a bad call, but I think that it's being blown way up bigger than it should be, especially during the Super Bowl week when the game's done. Like, they're not going to replay it. And the Saints just kind of, pissing and moaning. Oh, excuse me. Complaining about it.
Hey, you said the H word.
Still,
earlier.
Dumb button. You can say the H word. You can say the H word.
Yeah.
You can't say that word though.
The Saints
That's
complaining
okay.
about it.
We're fine.
And Sean Payton, I just think that the whole thing is just, I don't know. I think yes, they should have been upset, but they should have gathered themselves and won that game and made it not even matter.
I don't like the Saints.
I think that you said that word because we were at dinner a couple nights ago and I told you couldn't say that word on the radio and you just Freudian slipped and that's what happened. Is that what happened?
Might be.
Yeah, because I totally put it in your head that you cannot say that on the
You meant to
radio.
say something else.
So then, of course, you said it on the radio. But hey, Colin Stair, a couple weeks ago, he was our co-producer.
Did he say something?
He didn't. No, he didn't. He was very close. He's very good at it. Because remember
Shocked.
when he came in with us a long time ago, a couple months ago, and he came in and he said, "I just can't freaking believe it." And then he said, "Gosh, darn it." He was doing a good
We got to
job.
put the hair flip on the squeeze.
Oh yeah, on the Squeeze Twitter. That should just be our avatar picture for the next month, I think. He did a good job. Thank you, Colin Stair. It's a good find.
Yeah.
So the way I look at it, this is kind of a whole broader scope for me with this call. It means a lot. That call meant a lot.
Yeah.
As much as you want to
it's a big
say,
deal.
like, get over it. If you were on that team, I don't think you'd get over it. Like, that was the most infamous, egregious,
Yeah.
obvious no call in the history of maybe sports.
Yeah.
It was, he got fined. He said he did it on purpose. And there wasn't, literally there was not a chance in that word that you don't think I can say that wasn't a pass interference call.
Yeah. No, I agree. And you know what? It's funny. If he would have turned his head around,
It would've
he
been
would have been
Yeah.
a touchdown the other way.
He
and
could have
they
caught
would've won
it.
the game. It would have been, it would have been like, we wouldn't be here if he would have just literally turned his head around and just had some coordination, hand-eye coordination.
But instead, he just put his
But
head
yeah,
down.
Just put his head down and just
Just
barely
buried
got-
him.
And that's the craziest part to me is even if it was tipped at the line, like you said earlier, which I don't know if it was, even if it was tipped at the line, it should have been a helmet-to-helmet call. So you missed two obvious calls.
Yeah.
The whole thing is a little crazy. Now, I don't want them to be able to review every call because that's crazy. But I will say, give them 3 challenges.
Yeah.
Let them challenge anything.
Yeah.
They can use their 3 challenges to challenge anything. They don't get unlimited attempts. You have to limit it.
Yeah.
You maybe even discourage them from doing it by associating a penalty the other way, something like that. But you have to be able to review a call like that
Yeah.
when it's that obvious.
Well,
Come
the
on.
problem with the challenges is like, okay, that call is within 2 minutes, so that's something you can't even challenge. It has to be basically you have to
It'd have to be
you have
both.
to reviewed. Yeah. So it is what it is. Everyone's gonna remember the call, and it kind of topped off a really bad season for the refs. From start to finish. You know what I mean? Just with
from
all
a
the
Packers point of view.
no. Just for all the roughing the passer calls. I was watching a Monday night game and it was the Steelers and the Bucks, and there's literally like almost 3 or 4 like plays in a row where there's a roughing the passer call. It was bad.
And it got better though.
It did. It
After
got
the 15th Clay Matthews roughing the passer call, I think they
Very true.
finally changed it. But we talked about it. We got a little heated early on in the season
Yeah.
when that big blonde oaf was just wrecking quarterbacks. A couple of them were actually roughing the passer, and he
Yeah.
kept doing it. So then when you set that precedent that you're
Yeah.
gonna do that, even when you're not doing it, they're gonna call it. So what I said is, hey, Khalil Mack has 13 sacks, and he hasn't had a single roughing the passer call because he's reserved and he knows what he's doing. So I get that the rule sucked.
Khalil Mack and reserved.
He is reserved. He's one of the best athletes in the NFL.
Ruthless, dude.
Yeah, but
He's so
but he's
fun to
ruthless. But he has the frame of mind to
Yeah.
grab the ball instead of grab the helmet.
That's
So my whole point was, it's a crappy rule, but
Yeah.
play to the rule. It's the
Fair
rule.
enough.
I hope they don't go where you can challenge penalties. I think that would
No,
be so.
I think
oh,
that's-
I would
I don't know.
hate that so much.
I guess you can say this is
NFL
never going
games
to
would
happen
take
again.
4 hours.
But that's if they only have 3 challenges. That's no more than they already have.
It's so,
What's the point of refs
so-
I mean, they have 2, but
It's so tough.
But they can only do it 3 times.
Yeah.
This call only yes, there were you saw the slideshow of the 4 missed Saints calls or whatever.
Yeah.
But this was the one call that Sean Payton would have challenged.
If this would have happened, though, we wouldn't be even talking about this game. Like,
Yeah.
this has given us so much to talk about, so much hype about sports. Like, that's one of the fun things about sports. It's
is
just
refs.
chirping the refs.
That's
chirping the
true.
umps.
That's true.
But
And-
I mean,
and
it goes back to you got to get the call right.
Yeah.
If we're going to have instant replay in the first place, which a lot of people don't agree with, if we're going to review every touchdown, if we're going to review every turnover, that's to get the calls right. So when you get that call wrong and it's that obvious, there's a problem there. So
Yeah.
you either take instant replay away and you no more challenges at all, or you let them challenge the obvious missed calls.
I don't know. It's such a tough. I'm going to be very interested to see what the NFL tries to do here to fix this, because I don't think they're going to sit there and let something like this go by without change, because this was such a monumental play in a big playoff game, and it's such an important time in the game. So
Okay, so we got the Patriots. You come on,
I'm
give
gonna
me
go.
an
I'm
answer.
gonna go. Yeah, I was telling him I'm gonna lean Patriots. I'm
Okay.
cheering Rams. I'm gonna lean Patriots. So.
I'm pretty sure everybody is cheering for not cheering, but everybody is picking the Patriots.
Brady won't lose 2 Super Bowls in a row.
It's just not going to happen. I don't think it can happen.
When do you think he's going to retire?
At this point, never.
Dude.
Those steroids are
He's
working.
going on forever.
I think he's the type of guy that he'll retire like after he has like a bad season. I don't think it's going to be like after he wins the Super Bowl, because then he's going to want to play again. I feel like
Yeah.
Brady's the guy, like if they go like 7 or 9 somehow,
Yeah.
they won't do that in
No.
that division. But
If he wants to keep sleeping on the couch, he's going to keep playing football, because Giselle Bundchen does not want him playing football anymore. She's been saying that
Yeah.
for 5 seasons.
Yeah, he. The thing I heard him say during the Super Bowl week, and that his dad was saying on an interview on ESPN, is that he loves like the whole process. So like feeding his body, getting the right amount of sleep, being around his teammates. Like he doesn't even just love winning; it's everything that goes into it. And I think that's something that's the reason he's playing so long. And I was thinking, I was like Peyton Manning. He played a while, but I think he had that career-threatening neck injury,
Mhm.
that nerve debilitation in his fingers, and I think that started to play into it, because he started to lose grip on his fastballs, and he was like, okay, it's time.
Yeah.
And Brady doesn't have something like that.
Never, never
I think
has.
it'd take a devastating injury would change that, but he hasn't been injured since like 08.
Yeah,
when
I mean,
he tore his ACL.
and then Matt Castle won 13 games. No biggie.
yeah.
Yeah, I know. So one more thing before we let you go. You're a Packers fan, and we're just talking about quarterback injuries.
he's a Packers fan?
Yeah, he's a Packers fan. I know. He didn't get paid to wear that. So 23, that's what Kyle Fuller would have worn if you guys actually got him. Remember that? Remember?
Jai-
How
Jai-
awesome would that have been if you got
Yeah.
Kyle Fuller?
Yeah.
No, but we got him, and he had 8
I'm
interceptions.
pretty happy, because Jair Alexander is gonna be a star, and
Yeah,
I'm
that's
confident about that.
That's fine. Okay, so the question that I want to ask you,
Yeah.
and then I'm going to answer it after you answer it, because that's the whole point of asking the question,
Fair enough.
is it's not even really a question. I'm just going to give you the opinion. Aaron Rodgers has had multiple collarbone injuries.
Yep.
Multiple. He's missed multiple seasons for it.
Yep.
That is comparable to the neck injury of Peyton Manning. It's not comparable to the non-injury history of Tom Brady.
Yep.
We saw the decline already, and it could have just been one bad season, of Aaron Rodgers this year. He did not look like Aaron Rodgers.
no, he didn't.
It wasn't just the production. It was the throws, the throwing away, the patience in the pocket. He looked jumpy. So tell me, as a Packers fan, be realistic. How much time does Aaron Rodgers have left?
God, or is he 34? It's a good question. I don't know. Because we live in an era now where it's like all these quarterbacks are playing forever. You see Eli Manning, Big Ben, and Phil have been playing since 2004. Drew's been playing since like 2001. I mean, and he's like, we got quarterbacks going into their 40s, so it's hard to say.
But
you don't really,
those guys all have in common.
Yeah,
they've
yeah.
never had those injuries.
Yeah, I know, and I don't know how hard it is. I can't put myself in his body and be like, how hard is it to throw a fastball when I've had breaks in my collarbone?
Yeah.
And I wouldn't. I mean, yes, Peyton Manning's injury was debilitating too, but I mean, we're talking about nerve versus bone here. I mean, it's two different things. Like Peyton Manning is having trouble feeling the ends of his fingers, and that's why he was playing with a glove for a while there. So I don't know. I think it's so hard to tell. We'll see how this next season comes up, because I think
New coach.
yeah, new coach. I'm very optimistic that he'll jumpstart the offense. So I don't have an answer for you. I don't have a good answer. I think I give it I give it 4 years. I give it 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to play till he's 43.
Oh no,
like Brady.
No, God no. I don't know. I don't know if I'd want him to. You know, he's a mobile quarterback, and he's gonna get injured if he keeps playing how he plays.
In my mind,
more injured.
he's still the greatest quarterback of all time,
Yeah.
the greatest to play the position of all time,
Yeah.
literally to throw a football, to run around a football field.
Yeah.
Brady obviously is the most decorated of all time.
Yep.
Achieved. Yeah. I mean, he's 5 rings. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
He's about to have 6, and then he's going to be the Michael Jordan of the NFL. I mean, there's not much. It's totally 2 different conversations. I hate having the conversation because no one wants to hear that
No.
Aaron Rodgers is the best quarterback of all time. Tom Brady is the most accomplished of all time. So they can both be the GOATs.
Brady's going to win a division championship every year. Rodgers has one of the hardest divisions
Well,
in football. It's tough.
It's true.
It is tough because you haven't seen a coach be an equal or even close to that of Belichick since probably Nick Saban when he coached the Dolphins.
507-457-1615 is the phone number. Again, Mackenzie, congrats. I guess no one wants to challenge you. You're going to win that t-shirt. 507-457-1615 is the phone number. Thanks for listening. We'll be right back. Andy, thank you so much.
Always a pleasure, boys.
Go Pats
Go Rams.
Say go Pats.
and go Rams. Okay. Thanks for listening. We'll be right back. You are listening to The Squeeze with Anthony Pasquesi, produced by Alec Root on KSMR Radio, broadcasting live on 92.5 FM on campus and 94.3 FM in Winona, Minnesota, as well as online at smumn.edu/KSMR. KSMR Real College Radio. Alec, what's the phone number?
507-457-1615.
I don't know if that was English. It sounded like 507-457-1615.
Yes.
So good job.
I tried to do it really fast.
507-457-1615. Now we're just taking calls. We had a nice 22 minutes with Andy Alleman. Thank you so much again to Andy. We're taking calls, 507-457-1615. We're going to talk about anything. We talked a lot of football right there. We're going to talk baseball, basketball, hockey, everything in between, even swimming. 507-457-1615 is the phone number. We want to hear your opinions. Maybe tell us who's going to win the Super Bowl, or tell us where Anthony Davis is going to end up. Tell us how mad you are at MLB free agency this offseason. 507-457-1615 is that phone number. We want to hear from our millions of listeners. No, sorry, 10,000 on the radio. 10,024 listeners on the radio. Let's start in the NBA. The NBA had a big shakeup earlier this week, a trade between the Dallas Mavericks and the New York Knicks. Porzingis was unhappy with the direction of the franchise, as he deserved to be, because they're the Knicks. And he wanted out. Of course, Porzingis is out the entire year with a knee injury, and the Dallas Mavericks took a shot on another white basketball player. They now have Luka Doncic, Kristaps Porzingis, and Dirk Nowitzki.
He's coming back.
He's coming back for next season. How awesome would that be? Dirk Nowitzki, Kristaps Porzingis, and Luka Doncic.
He was so fun to watch in his prime.
Oh, he was. He still is fun to watch.
Yeah.
He's double digits every night. He's a stud. So the other big thing going on in the NBA is Anthony Davis. And this is something that a lot of people don't like, the fact that players in the NBA mean so much to their given teams and to the league that they can honestly do whatever they want. And that's what Anthony Davis said. He said, I don't want to play here anymore. I'm not going to sign here. Trade me. You're not going to get anything for me when I don't sign here. So trade me now. And that's exactly what I think the Pelicans are going to try to do by the end of the trade deadline. You said something about the Lakers earlier. I don't remember it.
Did I say what they offered?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had it on. Did you hear about it?
Yeah, I think it was
It was like Lonzo,
it was 5
Kuzma,
players.
a
It was
first round
something
pick,
crazy.
Rajon, Ingram maybe, and then one other. And a first rounder. That's a lot.
That's a lot. That's a lot for Anthony Davis. But Anthony Davis is, at this point, might be better than LeBron if you really think about it.
Giannis and LeBron.
So you put him on the Lakers, and you might have a team that can take down the fracturing Golden State Warriors.
That Western Conference, like even the
It's
semifinals,
tough, man. Yeah, it's tough.
Houston, Golden
Rockets.
State, and LA.
James Harden is quickly becoming the best.
I think he's unbelievable.
This is the best season ever, behind that Michael Jordan season, behind
if
the
OKC
record.
gets good, Dallas gets good.
Yeah, that's
Eastern Conference is just
nothing.
pointless.
And you would think, hey, if you were a Bulls fan, you'd be really excited about that. But no, we're going for a tank again in a season that we weren't supposed to tank with, that we had a good coach for. Fred Hoiberg was a great coach. Not a great coach. He was a good coach. Now we have this clown, Jim Boylan, who's just,
What
God.
place are you guys in?
We're third in the NBA. Third to last in the NBA. We're third in the race.
They're the last in the conference too. That probably makes sense.
Yeah, man, it's ugly. But you got to love the NBA. This is something that, every single season, there is something that shakes up the NBA. You don't really get that in the NFL. It was rare this year to see Khalil Mack change teams. Khalil Mack is arguably the LeBron James of defense in the NFL, or the Anthony Davis of defense in the NFL. Those trades don't happen a lot in the NFL. They happen almost every single season in the NBA, and this is just another example of that. Remember last season, the Cavaliers traded for everything to get Larry Nance, and it was crazy. And it's the same thing this season. Kristaps Porzingis, top 10 player in the league when he's healthy, changing teams. Anthony Davis, top 3, 4, 5 player in the NBA, asking for a trade. Kyrie Irving, I don't know if you heard that when he was asked if he's going to re-sign. He said, ask me on July 31st or July 1st, which basically means I'm not signing back here. I've heard a lot of theories that the snake, Kevin Durant, is going to leave the Warriors, probably not tell the Warriors, just like he did to
I
Russell
can see him
Westbrook.
leaving.
And he's going to go to the Knicks alongside Kyrie Irving.
That'd be fun.
Now, is that a championship team? That sounds like a championship team to
I
me.
feel like people just want to stay in the West though, so like they have like better players to play against. I feel like the East.
No, not Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant's not about the difficulty. If you do remember, he joined the team that beat him, which is always honorable, very respectable. I loved that he made that move. It was a great career move for him. He's not spineless at all. So it wouldn't surprise me if he goes to the Knicks. Then you add the Knicks, who now have 3 first-round picks from the Dallas Mavericks over the next 6 years. And that's a contender, if you ask me. The Knicks this year are going to be in the lottery, I do believe.
They're on a 12-game losing streak.
Yeah, they're going to be in the lottery. So tell me this. Is this a championship team? Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, and Zion Williamson. Wow. That's a
That'd be
scary team. In an East that, I mean, you have to go up against and through Giannis. That's about it.
You know, the Cavaliers are going to be a mess.
Oh my
in
gosh.
the next 5 years.
The Bulls are going to be a mess the next 5 years. The entire conference is going to be a mess the next 5 years. I've heard things about the Orlando Magic, who are currently out of the playoffs. They're going to start selling their best players to the Western Conference. It feels like the East is the minor league system for the West, and just every season we're just going to have a Western Conference champion win the finals. And I don't know how I feel about it. This is the problem with giving the players all this power. A lot of people like it. I like it most of the time. I think it's great that these guys have so much to do with their careers. That's a pretty normal thing in everyday life, just not in sports. But it gives you this lopsidedness that you don't get in other sports. I mean, like we said, the entire Western Conference is the only conference. I mean, that's the only conference that we're even thinking about for a championship. I mean, look, the Denver Nuggets are on top of the conference.
Lakers aren't even in the playoffs right now.
That's crazy, and they have LeBron James. I mean, give me the playoffs in the Eastern Conference right now. Who would make the playoffs?
Eastern, it'd be 1 versus 8 would be Milwaukee versus Miami, 2 versus 7 Toronto versus Charlotte, 3 versus 6 Philadelphia versus Brooklyn, and then Indiana versus Boston.
That's crazy. I mean,
It's kind of boring.
it is kind of boring. And the Celtics at the beginning of the year, you thought they were going to be the best team. You thought the 76ers were going to be the best team. They're nowhere to be found. The Bucks have had an awesome season. Giannis has been great. Toronto, they traded for Kawhi, and that's been a good move.
They could make it.
They've been a good team, but they can never win
But
a
Kawhi
playoff
could be the
series.
answer. He
He
could.
could be, but he also couldn't be. You know, I mean, it's I don't know. It's just basketball is such a fun sport to watch, but the NBA to me isn't.
Well, the thing is, the NBA Finals, I can't see it being more than a 5-game series. Like the Western Conference is
Every
going to
year.
either win 4-0, 4-1.
Every year for the last 5 years, 6 years.
Sad.
It is sad. It was LeBron versus the Western Conference, and then LeBron made the worst career decision of his life to go to the Western Conference. Remember what I said when he did it? I don't know if you remember. I literally said he will never win a finals again. And,
Yeah.
and I believe that a lot more than I believed the Tom Brady thing, which I was wrong. So like it was great for his extracurricular activity, and it's great for his production company, and it's great for his agency and all that, but it wasn't good for his basketball career. And in the quest to be the greatest of all time, which I've been a proponent of for a long time, he's hurting it. He's hurting my argument for the best player of all time because he's not going to make the playoffs.
Do you think the Warriors are going to win it again this year?
Yes,
You think?
absolutely. I don't think there's a chance. They won it last year, and then they added DeMarcus Cousins.
I know.
And you remember how
OKC's playing good, man.
okay, I mean, yes, so are the Nuggets and so are so are the Rockets, but you know who has Steph? You know who has 3 of the top 3 shooters of all time? The Warriors.
It'd be so funny. Denver gets the 1 seed, then LeBron gets the 8 seed. LeBron just comes in and
That would be
sweeps the
hilarious.
1 seed.
LeBron and Anthony Davis.
That'd be awesome.
That would be pretty cool. 507-457-1615 is the phone number. Basketball, that's something we don't talk about basketball a lot here on the Squeeze. Professional basketball, that is. So that was good. That's some good stuff. 507-457-1615. Baseball is my favorite sport to watch, but it is the worst offseason, bar none. I mean, can you tell me one move? Tell me you're not a big baseball observer. Tell me one offseason move that you could think of right now. Tell me.
That's already happened?
Yeah.
The Twins, their first round pick from 2014 is coming to spring training. I know that.
That's great.
The
That's
first overall
awesome.
pick.
That's great. Good to know.
He's going to spring training this year.
I know that the Cubs have signed 3 relief pitchers. I can only name one, Brad Brock, which is awesome. I like him. He's going to be good. But you know who hasn't signed in 3 months? Manny Machado and Bryce Harper. 2 of the best players in the sports. We talk about how the NBA players have all this power. Well, apparently the MLB players have no power at all. Because you know why? There's going to be a case for for collusion here in a couple years. This next CBA, you cannot possibly tell me that the players are not going to unite and say this is B.
Yeah.
This you cannot. I mean, they're not paying the players what they're worth. It's going from what used to happen, which was Albert Pujols getting $200 million for 10 years, which is crazy, to No, we don't have to pay Albert Pujols. Albert Pujols can retire. We're going to bring up our next first baseman. We're going to pay him $500,000 a year. He's going to have he's going to be a 2.5 WAR player, and that's good with us because we don't really need to win. We just need to make the money that we're making because we're owners and we're greedy.
Yeah, no, I'm looking at the signings right now. Neil Walker, Mark Reynolds, Greg Holland, and Wade Miley are like the only names I know that made. All the other ones are no-namers.
So Bryce Harper, I'd say top. I think he's quite overrated.
Remember when I said he was going to go to the Phillies and you kind of told me no? I thought he was going to go to the
He's
Phillies.
close to the Phillies,
I think
but he's
he's
also close to the Padres, apparently, which doesn't make sense. And he's close to the Cubs. Did you hear that?
He's not
No.
going.
He's not going to the Cubs, but he met with the Cubs.
He can meet with anybody he wants.
He met with them. There's a chance.
Where is Machado going, Twins?
White Sox. He's going to the White Sox. Yep.
I saw a Minnesota Sports thing that the
Nope.
Twins are interested.
It doesn't matter. He's interested in the White Sox. You want to bet on it?
Nope.
You want me to eat something?
Nope.
You sure?
Nope.
I'm not going to double nothing you. Your mom wants you to eat beets just as much as I do. But he's going to be a White Sox by the end of this offseason. I just wish they would freaking pay him already. Get this offseason rolling. There are just people waiting in the wings right now to be signed to MLB contracts.
Top 12 landing spots for Machado. This was how long? Oh, this is in July. I can't do this.
It was the White Sox. It's the White Sox. I mean, do you know what's so funny about this? Maybe this is the whole point. Every single team, every single fan of every single team tells you this guy's coming to my team. Maybe that's the whole point. Maybe they're just gaming the system. They're tricking us out of it. You think that you're getting Manny Machado, even though you're not. I think we're getting Bryce Harper, even though we're not.
This was 2 months ago. 1 Yankees, 2 Phillies, 3 White Sox, 4 Padres, 5 Angels, 6 Cubs.
For who?
The best ranking.
For Machado.
Yeah.
Well, that just doesn't make sense because the Cubs have never even gotten close
That's
to
right.
Machado. I think this is probably based off of situation, like fit, because he'd make a lot of sense in Chicago.
Best landing spots.
Yeah, best landing spots. I don't think that's like likelihoods. If you look on a betting website, I'm pretty sure that the White Sox are the odds-on favorite to get Manny Machado. It seems pretty obvious that he's going to end up on the south side of Chicago. They've done a very good job of creating a beautiful nest for him. They've signed his brothers-in-law, I said it right. Did you like that? I said brothers-in-law. Yes. Grammar class is paying off. They've signed his uncles and his cousins and his best friends and his janitors. They've signed everybody to play for the Chicago White Sox just so that he will have a lot of friends when he's losing 100 games on the south side of Chicago. That's the only part that I think depends. What does Manny Machado want? Because the White Sox can offer as much money as anybody in the MLB. But does Manny Machado really want to go to another rebuilding team after he just left one?
That's why the Yankees, I think.
There's a good
Out of
shot there.
These 6 guys did predictions. 3 had Yankees, 2 Phillies, 1 Mets.
These guys were
USA Today. When was the date, though? November 6th.
long time ago, because that's when people thought they were going to sign, because that's how normally free agency works in sports. I mean, look at NFL free agency. The day free agency opens, people are signing with teams.
When did they report the spring training? So,
Pitchers and catchers report in like a week, like 7 days. I just saw the Twitter video for the Cubs with all the moving equipment going down to spring training.
Yeah.
It's honestly, they report in a week. And Manny Machado and Bryce Harper, top 15 talents, don't have teams. So let's just hypothetical. I was starting it a little earlier. I think Bryce Harper is a little overrated, but he has had a couple 8-WAR, 7-WAR seasons, which is impeccable. I'm going to say he's the 3rd best player in the MLB, and I'm going to say Manny Machado is probably the 7th. So let's take the MLB and turn it into the NBA. Who's the 3rd best player and who's the 7th best player in the NBA?
7?
In the 7th. So I'd say 3rd is probably, so you got Giannis, James Harden. I'd say it's Kevin Durant. I'd say Kevin Durant is the 3rd.
LeBron?
No, he's not even in my top 5 anymore. So you have Kevin Durant, number 3. He's a free agent. And then you also have number 7. Let's go Anthony Davis. Let's say it's Anthony Davis. So you have Kevin Durant and Anthony Davis. You're really telling me that in the NBA offseason, those 2 guys would be on the free agent market for 3 months?
Yeah.
They'd be locked up in a week Anthony Davis already knows where he's going for the next 17 years. He's planned it all out because he has all that control. And baseball players don't. And I've never understood, we've talked about it before. I don't know your opinion on it. I've never understood the point of view of fans who side with owners because they say, these players, they're playing a children's game for millions of dollars and they're complaining about them not making enough money. Well, guess what? The person you're siding with is worth $1 billion. They're way, you can relate even less to them than you can to Manny Machado. And yet fans are totally fine with these players' wages being suppressed. There's a problem there.
Yeah, I'm not even interested anymore, kind of, for the Harper and Machado.
It's just making me angry.
I don't know.
There's no point in following it. There's no point in following it. Every time I get a Manny Machado update, swipe right, because I don't care, because it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it just doesn't matter. 507-457-1615 is the phone number. We're coming up on the home stretch here on the squeeze. 507-457-1615 is the phone number. Mackenzie, you're getting closer and closer. I'm sure you're sitting by the radio just counting down the seconds until you win that sweet, sweet squeeze t-shirt. 507-457-1615 is the phone number. Call us if you want to win a t-shirt or if you just want to talk. 507-457-1615. Thanks for listening. We'll be right back. Oh no, the sound's been off for the
Yeah.
whole segment on the YouTube live stream.
No.
No, we were doing so well. I totally made awesome jokes, and you
So-
guys really would have laughed at them.
Someone, Catherine Bates, I think the sound is up.
That is embarrassing, but that's okay. You just missed some of the best. That may have been the best 6 minutes we've ever done.
Tell them what we did.
I don't really want to anymore. You can't reenact that magic. So we just went over the schedules for the men's basketball team and the men's and women's hockey team. So you could just go on the SMOO website and check it out. And maybe you can read the lips of the jokes that we said. That's embarrassing. 507-457-1615. You want to tell me how embarrassing it was? Call that phone number, 507-457-1615. Alec, who you got in the Super Bowl one more time and tell me why.
Patriots 34-20 because Todd Gurley will have a good first quarter and then he'll be pulled out of the game in the third quarter and CJ Anderson will start getting more rushes again because Gurley's going to be shut down. And then James White is going to have a touchdown and Sony Michel is going to have a touchdown and they're each going to have over 100 yards total.
Who's your MVP?
Oh, man. I wish I knew more Patriot defensive players. I would say Brady.
I was about to say, you're telling me that the Patriots are going to win by 2 touchdowns and you're going to pick a defensive player? I think it's pretty obvious if the Patriots win,
Switch it up.
it's going to be Tom Brady. So you say a 2-touchdown win. I said 3 touchdowns earlier. That's a little crazy.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go 17 points. I said I don't know. I don't like the whole score thing because you don't know any more than anybody else. So you're just saying something. You're just guessing random numbers. But let's go 27-10. Low scoring Super Bowl for sure. 27-10.
You don't think the Rams get more than 10 points?
Dude, do you remember the conversation we had? They had 6 points against the Bears. It's 6 points. They didn't score a touchdown. Jared Goff threw for 3
It's the
interceptions.
Super Bowl. You score in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but Jared Goff, he's just more opportunities for him to throw 3 interceptions. 507-457-1615. Guys, can you tell I'm begging for a call, please? 507-457-1615.
10 points. Gosh. That's very bold.
10 points. Yeah. So the over-under, I don't know what it is, but it's probably higher than 37. So I'd bet on under. I'd bet under 37 points.
No way.
No, I mean, I don't know. I feel that. How awesome is that Mercedes-Benz Stadium, by the way? Oh my gosh.
Beautiful.
I watched speaking of YouTube videos, I'll say something else in a second. I watched a nice animation YouTube video of Mercedes-Benz Stadium, and those rose petal things, they look like they're rotating, but they just go straight. So they all go straight at the same time, and it looks like it's a circle.
Really?
It's
Is this
really
the stadium
cool.
where they have the Chick-fil-A in it?
I believe so.
But
And it's
they
not going to
can't-
be open.
That's so.
What the heck?
What's the
Wait,
point?
football games are always on Sunday.
That's the thing.
That doesn't make any
That's why I
sense at
know
all.
that Only for non-NFL events that are there, it's open.
And I guess Monday night games and Thursday night
How
games.
dumb is that?
That's weird. I don't get that at all. Yeah, I didn't put those dots together when I heard that. I was just like, oh, it won't be open for the Super Bowl. No, it won't be open for any football game.
That's ridiculous.
That is pretty crazy. But speaking of YouTube, this is funny. Other than our YouTube channel, Anthony Pasquazi, hit that subscribe button and like the stream. Thank you so much for listening on there. There's only a couple people listening, but there's 10,000 listening on the radio, as always. Speaking of YouTube, I fell into a YouTube crap hole of Puzzle Masters. So I watched a 47-minute video. Yes, Mom and Dad, I'm spending my time in college very well, not wasting any money at all. 47 minutes of my life that I'll never get back. I spent watching a dude trying to solve a puzzle of a lock with a bunch of intricate little things. And he's basically just shaking the thing and like jiggling stuff. And then eventually it just pops open. And I'm like, I just watched this for 47 minutes. And it was addicting. I don't know what it was about. I advise don't watch it.
That doesn't sound fun.
It doesn't sound, it wasn't fun. I hated myself for it. I was like, why did I just do this? I just wasted 47 minutes. I could have literally done anything else. And I watched that video. So yeah, pretty
You do
fun
homework,
stuff. I
Homework.
could have done homework. I could have done squeeze prep. I could have played video games. Even video games would have been more productive than watching that YouTube video. 507-457-1615. We have 6 minutes left. Come on, guys. Squeeze. 16-second squeeze. You don't want to win a t-shirt? That's fine. Mackenzie wants to win the t-shirt. She's probably loving it. I know what he's calling. 507-457-1615. I think that the Patriots are going to win by 17 points. I think that Jared Goff is going to throw at least 3 interceptions. I think Sean McVay is going to be out-dueled, outsmarted, outwitted by Bill Belichick. I don't think the Rams have a chance. I don't think that they're the best team in the NFC.
The 10 points though. It's the Rams. One of the best offenses in the NFL.
Not against a good team.
Patriots D is like, they're good, but they're not that good.
But Bill Belichick is good. And you said it earlier, defensive wizard. He's been doing it for 20 years. Been doing it since we were alive. Just out-dueling opposing coaches.
I just hope it's a fun game to watch.
I do too.
Like last year, I liked watching it.
Okay,
but
that was one of the best Super Bowls ever.
I know. Me though, I didn't really enjoy watching it.
I guess.
There was just so much scoring.
Yeah, that's
Like,
true.
all
There was
defense.
1 sack
I know.
the whole game. I think the over-under for sacks is 3.
Besides that Philly special play, I feel like I just saw the same plays over and over that were just
Offense.
long passes.
That's something that we don't really get into the nitty-gritty because neither of us are like, we're kids. We haven't been around the block watching sports yet. We've only been watching sports for 7 years since we've been making memories, So I've heard a lot that Tom Brady, the reason that they only have white slot receivers that do really well, and like that's their thing, is because he only throws the ball short because that's all he needs to do. He has the quickest release time in the playoffs this season. He had the 4th quickest average release time this season in general. And all they do is just dink, dunk, dink.
That's why I
dunk,
think the
dink.
running backs have such a big. I think he's going to throw it to the running backs more than the wide receivers today. I think he's going to throw it. They're each going to have at least 5 catches.
Yeah. Today, that's kind of crazy. We're watching the Super Bowl in 5 hours. How awesome is that?
Yeah.
I love that. Super Bowl Sunday. There's something about Super Bowl Sunday. It kind of makes me sad, actually, because it was so fun as a kid at home watching it. Your parents make a bunch of food and I'm always going to miss that of watching it with my family for sure. Watching it with friends is awesome and I'm excited to do it. But like last year, it just wasn't the same, because everybody's talking and you're not really watching the game.
What did you watch last year?
I watched it. I went to Bro Leo. With some track people. Yeah. 507-457-1615.
It's going to be 3:30 p.m. in LA when the Super Bowl starts.
You really think
that's
they
weird.
care?
That's kind of weird though.
I,
Don't you want it to be more of a night kind of thing?
Who do you think, which city will be rated higher? How many more people are going to watch? New Orleans or LA? Which city will have the higher rating?
That's tough.
Yeah.
I think LA.
No, I think it's New Orleans. You want to bet on it?
No.
You're just going to lose.
Actually, I'll say New Orleans. After thinking about it a little.
Did you see? It's one video. It's anecdotal, of course. But did you see that one video of the bar when LA won the NFC Championship? And they were like, so is it over? Like, come on. Are you kidding me?
There's so much other stuff to do in LA.
There's so many other cities that would pay everything to be in that situation. And it's kind of like, you know what it is? It's kind of like the Golden Knights last year. Where Las Vegas, you guys don't deserve this.
No, dude. These fans are crazy. I went to their game.
Yeah. You went to Las Vegas?
For New Year's.
Oh, you did. I forgot.
To a Vegas Golden Knights game.
Yeah.
Their fans are nuts. They love it there because that's their only professional team.
That's true. Not for long. The Raiders.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah. Well, I think this has been one of our best shows. To be honest, I'm willing to say that into the microphone. It's been one of our best shows. Every week we're getting better, unless I'm alone or with Colin.
We have 4 likes.
Then I'm getting. Oh my God, are you kidding? We're rolling in the likes. We're rolling. One of them is, of course, you. That's okay though.
Shed dislike.
No, we've yet to get a dislike. That's not
good.
That's
Don't
not
do it, don't do
permission.
it.
That's not permission to do it. But we're yet to get a dislike. So a big move for us. We're moving to 11 o'clock is our new start time for the squeeze. 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock in an effort to get college students out of their bed and listening to the squeeze, because that's always what I hear from all these lazy college students. I've been up since 6 o'clock working hard for you guys to listen to the show, and no one wants to listen because you can't wake up at 10 o'clock. which is not late. I mean, it's not early, you know?
Yeah.
So we're moving it back 11 o'clock to 1. I'm excited for that. Gives us a little more time to prep, a little more time to wake up ourselves. And that was it. I mean, thanks for listening. Alec, you want to say anything else?
Patriots 34-20.
Okay, Patriots 27-10.
All right.
That's a low score Super Bowl. I don't know why I said that.
You're
But could you imagine if I'm right? That'd be pretty cool.
not gonna be.
Okay, we stuck the landing for sure. This totally kept the energy up.
Hey,
This has
someone
been
just
great.
started watching.
Hey, there you go. That person, if you just started watching, might have missed it. 11-1 next Sunday. Thanks for listening. We're going to try and maybe get Donnie Nadeau on the show. That rhymed. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you next week.